Subscribe to the Mystic Vibration Shock of the Hour program today and receive our nightly show immediately after each and every broadcast. This will be done via the email and will be found in your inbox. For the small price of only 50 United States dollars, you will receive almost 20 hours of raw information, knowledge, research, and scholarship on various subject areas and topics that are necessary to be addressed at this time. In addition, all subscribers will receive our monthly video lecture series, which has a value of 20 United States dollars. They will receive the video lecture for free that is related to the month that they are subscribing for. To subscribe, call or WhatsApp 1268-728-3162 or email priestisaac27@gmail.com. The Mystic Vibration is a program that is every Monday to Thursday at 6 p.m. sharp Eastern Caribbean time on Radio Anu, radioanu.com. Exactly 4 minutes after the hour of 7 o'clock. We're definitely thankful for your presence with us. We're now into the shock of the hour, and this evening we are definitely speaking about the whole aspect of our self-development. I would like to say the evolution of self. And when it comes into that whole, conversation, you must speak about the whole importance of the power of thought, the power of how you think, and knowing that thoughts literally become things. There's no way that an individual could really get away from that. And I know from time to time we try our best to express that whole meditation. I think we all know that what is referred to as stress is considered to be killer number one. It is said that stress is the cause of more disease than almost anything else. Stress. That's a very interesting statement to make, because you don't eat stress as such. You don't literally see stress on the label of any product that you buy, in any box, any tin, any bottle. I would agree that a lot of the animals that is consumed were very stressed when their life was taken from them, and hormones and adrenaline and different things were shot out in their body, and different toxins that crystallized themselves when they were murdered. So that fear and that anger and yes, that stress still remains in the meat that has been put on the freezer in many cases for months and years, and then you carry it home and saute it. You're eating the animal's stress, and that's a fact. But yet still there's another stress that you do not really consume, and it has all to do with yourself, your thinking. Just the term stress alone sounds like something that you stretch, that has just gone to its limit, cannot go no more. This is all that I can take. I give up. And many people, most people, are under some serious stress. Now, there's one thing about stress that is very interesting, and that goes for anger as well, and disappointment and sadness and these different things, which all together may equal some stress too. But this unique thing or interesting thing is that stress is not something that necessarily comes in a package as such. It is developed. You have to put in a dash of your state of mind. You'd have to put in a pinch of information For example, what I'm doing here is giving information. And in all respect, by the time I'm done, you should be in some way, in a better position to check for and deal with and totally eradicate the stress. Knowledge and information. So as I said, a bitter state of mind and a bitter ignorance and some pressure is equal to stress. But you see, when you have the right state of mind and you are informed about certain things, even when you have knowledge of the outcome, some people will say faith, but you got knowledge of the outcome plus some pressure, it's all right. It equals zero stress, even with the pressure. So the same foot that stepped on your toe is the same foot that stepped on the other fella's toe. And he said, ouch, oh my, and you said nothing. It is not that you didn't feel the pain just as much as he did. But again, because of your temperament and a certain level of discipline, you never cried out. Now, don't get me wrong. Crying out has its benefits sometimes. Because the one that cries out, sometimes the paramedics and whoever runs to his aid, where your toe may need some attention too, but you never said anything. You just kept it to yourself. And do you know that's a level of stress too? Oh. So this is something you got to balance properly. You got to know what to keep in, and at the same time you have to know what to let out. Ma'at. Balance here. So this is why I always return now to that scripture in the Psalms, the 82nd Psalms, that ye are all gods, your children of the Most High God. And if you're a child of God, when you grow up, you're more than likely you're going to be a God too, in the fullness, the Most High God, one with the Almighty. And what I find very interesting here is the nature of God. For the God has a specific nature. This is why the God is referred to as the Creator. The beneficent, the all-seeing, omnipresent, and all of these things. The most patient, merciful, yet judgmental. All healing, all the sustainer. A lot of great titles to this God. So if you are a God, even if you are a miniature size God, the fact that the God, the Most High God, has all of these attributes attached to the persona of the God, well, what do you have? Because you're a God. Who says so? The 82nd Psalm says, ye are all gods. Because now it may sound religious to some, but it's science to someone else, like myself, for sure. We had a reasoning, which date was, I can't remember. I don't even remember what we were talking about. But in one of our conversations, we were talking about the whole concept of the Almighty dwelling in every single thing. That the life force, that's the all in every single thing. And yet still, there's a certain level of the presence of the Almighty essence in human beings, and coming down the lines is a high science. In some traditions, they say tigers and some other animals. I think are the only two animals that have souls, as some tradition. So, I'm just showing you. So the science here, what I'm expressing is that that the Almighty dwells. The essence of life. Life, life. That's why you say give thanks for life. The essence of life. The word life, love, live. Same vibration. It is one with God. So that's why you don't really say, oh, this is my life. No, it's really one life. It's the source called life. Creation itself, and we're all partaking of it. And you'll be surprised even when you're dead, you're still alive. Yeah. So you're one with the Almighty. You are a God. But even if you say, well, yeah, I'm a God and He's the Most High God, and I'm not that God. Okay, I ain't fighting with you. That God has a capital G and you have a common G. Fair enough. But the kind of powers that the capital G has, the God that I've been taught about, this, don't play around with this God kind of person here. And he makes the earth shake, and he spoke, just speaking alone, and everything came into existence. And this was formed and that was formed, and he said, let there be light, and wow, the light shine, and he said to separate the day and the waters above, and a heap of thing, and take out the man ribs. And, oh, before that he formed the man from the dirt, from dust, and then take out a rib and somebody else. Yeah. And even if you don't follow that allegory, okay, let's push all of that aside then. Don't worry with that. Just look around. You don't need no book. Just look around. Look at the sun in the sky. Look at the moon. Look how it rises in the morning and set and all of that. And it doesn't matter what you think really taking place in it. It doesn't have anything to do with the distance of the sun from the earth. All of that could be wrong. The moon and this, just suppose none of the information that we've been taught is correct. Let's just say we've been fooled. But one thing I know, what I see is what I see. And you see the same thing. You may be evaluating it different than the other fella. But we all see this stuff rise in the morning. We see it set. We see the moon. We see the twinkling stars. We see people being born. We see the tree grow. We just see this high science and know that there is a nucleus, an intelligent nucleus that has all of this in control, for sure. Science shows you that. The earth revolves around the sun. The moon revolves around the earth around the sun around the center of the galaxy. And even the galaxies revolving around something else. And around something else, there's a central intelligence. Intelligence that governs all that is seen and unseen. And it only makes sense. Nothing hard about that. It just makes sense. You don't need to be religious to understand that. It only makes sense. And that's who people call God. And you're a miniature version of that. Wow. You are a miniature version of that. When you really comprehend the essence of this God, not even the God that we've been taught about can compare to this. And you are a miniature version of that. Wow. Even if you were 1/billionth, even if you were 1/billionth of that, so you had just 1/billionth of the power that God has. Just 1/billionth. Just 1/billionth. Judgment fire. You would be a superhero on this planet. I am telling you. They would put you in Marvel comic books. You'd be unstoppable with 1/billionth. And I'm telling you, when it says you're all gods, I don't think it's talking about way down the realms of 1/billionth. I think it's somewhere a little higher than that. I think it's a little more than 1/billionth. Man, even if you're a 1/trillionth, Even if you had 1 trillionth of the spark of the Almighty God that you kneel down and pray to, wow, everyone would have to get out of your way. So what that is showing me is that we are seriously off. For that scripture says, ye shall die like men. But within you is the potential of God. But for whatever reason, you are dying like regular folks. And that brings me again now to these attributes that this quote unquote God has. The God is the creator. How did this God create? He said. That's what the books and the scrolls say, you know, not just the Bible, you know. That's what the writings of old say. Our African traditions say. He said. He opened his mouth and he spoke. He spat out. And this was formed and that was formed. So they tell you, you have the right to remain silent. Because anything you say can be held against you. And you maybe say, hey, where did that come from? The point is, think before you speak. So before the Creator spoke, she thought within her mind what she was going to say. So I'm just showing to you now that it is the thought now, even before the speech, the thought, the power of the thought. From the thought came everything that you now see and what you don't see. We were talking about astral projection what were we talking about previous night? Oh man, no, previous night was wonderful. We were talking about the Nigeria and the Nigeria situation. But anyway, let me stick to the point. I'll totally forget what I'm saying here. Yeah, we were talking about astral projection a few evenings ago. Astral projection, the realms that some people don't comprehend. Wow, I wonder. That's mystic. Ooh, hey. If these realms exist, if the the parallel worlds exist, if the different dimensions really exist, it's not another God that created all of this, it's the one God. I'm not arguing over the word God, you know. I'm just saying that there is a nucleus of intelligence. So don't tell me, well, there's a God of that world. Well, they may have different captains over the worlds too. I ain't fighting that. They got captains over the galaxies and the realms and the dimensions. Hey, I can work with you. But there's a one nucleus of intelligence, again, that governs all. And what you see and don't see starts there at the top and trickle down. So I'm just showing you now that even if you're at the bottom of the pyramid of the trickling down, you're still the foundation, you're still of the level where you should be, doing more. And I'm just showing you that it all begins where? With the job that you have. Huh? No. It has to do with the type of university you go to. What? Yeah. It begins with your thought. It begins with your thought. The power of thought, the power of focus. That's it. So we have proof, you know, what the mind can do. We have evidence of exactly the power of what you think. Remember, there was this specific experiment in the 80s or the 90s in Seattle when they hooked up specific equipment to some Olympic superstars. And these Olympic superstars were asked to sit strapped down to these sensitive equipment, and they were asked to perform the events that they would do in the stadium, but perform the events in the mind. The doctor that performed the experiment was a doctor by the name of Bill Wheatley. And he said, to his astonishment, that the muscles that would have fired, depending on the event that the athlete would have done, were the same muscles that electrically fired in the sequence that they would have fired if the brothers and sisters were really on the field, were really running around the track, shot put, long jump, whatever it is that they had to do in the stadium, they were doing it in a chair, sitting down, strapped up, with equipment stuck to their head and to their chest and to their feet, and they were running in their mind. And it was not just left to them, you know. So obviously they would have counselors or coaches that would come in and you know, walk them through. So close your eyes now. Okay, just imagine that you're in the stadium. Imagine you're dusting off your hands, you're lacing up your boots. Okay, now on your marks, and pow, the gun goes off. And you start to run. Your mom is cheering you, and whatever. And then you imagine them dodging and running. Okay, he's in front of you, dodging. So the mind is in it. You're in it. The sequence, the muscles fired. And listen, they were sitting down. So the point is that it is their thoughts, what they were thinking about, you know. And that showed on the computer as if they were moving. And why I brought that in is just to, you know, prove to us that we have immense power in our thinking. That's the point. And we do not appreciate the importance of the things that go on in our mind. We don't. And it begins there. You have to appreciate the fact that your thoughts carry a lot of power. I mean, literal frequency that comes out of your cranium that can affect things. Telekinesis, man. People can move objects by their thoughts, move the object on the table. Now, I know to some, you're gone somewhere else now, you just left the planet, my brother. Well, maybe I did. Maybe I really did. But even if you don't want to go that far, at least consider the experiment that we just did a while ago, speaking of the whole aspect of the thinking there. Now, as I said, the way you think, and the reason why I brought it in is to relate it to the whole concept of being the God and the power of thought. So thoughts become things. That's very important. So you gotta guard your thoughts. So obviously now you have to think of vibration. Vibration is extremely important because we carry vibration. It's either good vibes or bad vibes, straight off.
Alafia to each and every one. Salamta and blessed love. Honorable Priest Isaac here. It is with great joy that I am happy to announce to you that I have officially released my first ebook, Anno Ancient and Modern Revisited. This is the continuation process of our easy-to-read books. Within the pages of Anno Ancient and Modern Revisited, we take the time to show you the spiritual connection with the island of Antigua and Heliopolis in Kemet in Egypt, with the island of Antigua and the legendary continent of Atlantis. We also highlight Green Castle Hill, also known as Mount Anu, which is known as the Stonehenge of the Caribbean, with the countless of megaliths that align with the movements of the heavens. This is a must-read for all those who are students of the esoteric realms, astronomy, geology, and ancient sites. Of course, to get a copy of your book, all you have to do is to contact us at area code 1268-728-3162. Call, text, or even WhatsApp. Or you can email us at priestisaac27@gmail.com to get a copy of your ebook and Ancient and Modern. It is an easy to read book, may appear light, but it is extremely heavy. Blessed Lord.
The good vibes is what we call I'm happy, oh I'm wonderful, oh everything is great. You know, that's happy. That's good vibes. Bad vibes is sad and angry and upset, and it's just vibes. So I'm going to return to the scripture now. This is the day that the Lord has made. Which day? Well, he said this is the day. I assume that goes for any day or every day that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. So what's that all about? I can't do that every day. Why not? I mean, there are days when things are going to happen that definitely doesn't merit no rejoice in. I am sure that everyone, well, most ones, would have at some time lost someone, as they call it, lost in the term. To me, lost is when you can't find somebody, you know, but you know what I mean when I said lost someone passed on, you know. That is as bad as it can get. And it has a lot to do with who it is that you lost to. And there's some people that you expect to go before you, and some people that you expect to go before. And when the people you expect to go before you, that's some different kind of loss. So is this the day for me to rejoice and be glad in it in the day? Between now, I mean, maybe after the funeral, I could, you know, start back that daily routine. But for now, this one ain't, you know, this is going to be hard. Well, no one said it's going to be easy, especially the way that we've been cultured. But if I'm to follow what the good book is saying, every day is a day to rejoice. Every day is a day to be glad. Every day somebody dies. You may not know them. You may not know them. But you see, that's the difference between a God and somebody that dying like men. I watched a video just the other evening, and I think I mentioned this a few evenings ago, but I may go a bit more into it here. I watched a video just the other evening, and it was speaking of a documentary, pardon me, two documentaries. One was speaking about some young children in prison in Burundi. Little children, in a 12-year-old and 10-year-old and 9-year-old in prison with some big fellas in Burundi, brother. But what was really touching is the situation in South Sudan. You know, in South Sudan, it was showing you that when the fighting really got out between the president and the vice president after they separated Sudan and broke it in two, talking about some new state in Africa. This is so. And then there was rivalry within the government now. It is said that many of the Sudanese people actually brought their children to the UN base and then fled to neighboring Uganda and other places. hoping that the UN would take care of their children. These children found themselves in the UN guarded to some degree, camp, around fences, within fences, pardon me, fences around the camp. And they sheeted bed camps, or bed sheet camps, some tents, UN tents, and you have thousands of people living in these camps in the Sudan, in the middle of, as we would say, nowhere. While you have rebels now, as they said in the documentary, if you leave the camp, even if you are a child, they would kill you. And you have soldiers around the camp fighting for land territory, the same land that has all the minerals that the European countries and other countries, Asian countries and all these other countries are taking for little or nothing. Listen to our documentary we did on the economic hitman. So listen to all of this, man. This is what's going on. So I'm watching the documentary and I'm seeing these little children, and some of them got to be reunited with their parents. And, you know, I don't know none of these people. I don't know none of them. But I felt it for them. Man, I watching the thing and I had to hold my head down for a moment, man. As the tears were coming, I said, wow, look at this. And I had to tell my youth, you see me? This is what fuels me. Nobody in the world can stop me from doing what I got to do to add to the liberation of my people. Nobody in the world. Don't even try it. Yeah, look what I'm watching there. But the point I'm making here is that I don't know them. And although my heart is with all my people, sometimes unless you see, you don't really feel. Imagine if you go. When I went to Haiti after the earthquake, I always mention that, man. And I mean, that made the impression there on me. I said, yeah, wow. I'm telling you. So I'm saying to you, what I'm saying, the point I'm making is that these are my brothers. These are my cousins. If somebody was to tell you, hey, they're raping your sister now, I'm sure if you're having dinner, you could be eating your favorite food, you would stop right away and get up and go and save your sister. Not that she is being raped. She's being raped right now. Okay, let's bring it down. Not your sister, your cousin, your second cousin. Let's go as far as your third cousin, your friend you went to school with. Well, I'm telling you, all them people are being raped right now. They're being raped. I mean, real rape. Some of them, you may not know them. You may not have been to school with them. But they are your blood. They're being raped right now too. We are people wrapped and spoiled. You see what I'm saying? But you see, you're not a God. So that don't mean nothing to you. But the Almighty God sees everything. In the eyes of the Almighty God, we are all His children. He is the one that is saying that this is the day that the Lord has made. So rejoice. Rejoice. Because no matter what, there are terrible things happening. But you see again, some of us, we are very selfish with our own spirit. So it's not that, listen, don't feel no way. It's not that your friend has lost their life. It's because you lose your friend. I'm telling you. Because if you never knew that friend, when they lost their life and you were watching the death announcement on TV, it would mean nothing to you. You would just be watching it, and every face you see, okay, I don't know him. Okay, I don't know her. And they would pass by. But because you have befriended that person, even if it's your sister and brother, it's because you have befriended them. Some of you have sisters and brothers you never met. You don't even know about them. Oh yeah. But if they die now, you ain't gonna feel nothing. Even if you get a word, you say, okay, I didn't hear about her. What's the difference? Yeah. I'm trying to bring you in the realms of God. God is all seeing. Everything bad that happens on the earth affects the Almighty, him and her. She feels it. She's a woman. I ain't arguing with you with that. Let's just keep it 100. She's a woman. She knows how to feel. She hurts when her child, any woman can tell you, when their children are in trouble, they feel it in the womb. Much more to the creator of all things, the womb which we all come out of, and the Father that fathered us. I'm talking about the Almighty couple. So I'm bringing us again into the realms of the God. So as a God, as a real God, I'm giving you some God lessons. As a God, you're supposed to feel it for everyone. We're all brothers and sisters, life. I hate to see people hitting animals. You know, hit an animal. What kind of man? Even if it's a donkey. Even at the horse race, I don't like to see people spanking the horse. I'm just to show you where I am. Beating children. What's wrong with you? Yeah, so you did not get... Don't get me started now, you know. I'm just saying that as a God, you feel it for everyone. So while I'm here sitting talking to you, my sister is being raped. No, my mother is being raped. My brothers are being shot, filled with bullet holes. And my other brother is doing the shooting. I know that for a fact. And it touches me. But that doesn't mean that this day is not a day for me to rejoice. And that's what happens when you start to evolve into a godlike state. You are naturally a happy human being. Naturally. You are naturally a disciplined human being. And this is why things like yoga and Tai Chi and deep breathing is a part of our culture. That is why Haile Selassie is our almighty eye. Because Haile Selassie, look at all them pictures. Every day I see a new one. I thought, wait, I never see this picture here. And you just check the emperor, his poise, his perfection. This ain't no diplomatic acting here. This is just square one. Natural calm. Anyone can tell you that. Even you, as a semi-scholar, can see, well, one thing about the emperor. He really is a real cool dude, brother. He just, you know, nobody can deny that. Nobody. Who you? Nobody. Nobody. As cool as they come, I don't want to call nobody's name, but as cool as the leaders come, we all know behind the scene, and even sometimes in front of the scene, they still kind of ruffle out and rough. The emperor has been perfect square one. When the emperor, I'm showing you something, man. When the emperor got into the accident in the taxi in 1936, 37, when he was in Britain, he was going to the BBC to give an address. And how it is, from Paddington Station, I think they took a taxi and they got in an accident in the taxi. Now he was scheduled to go to the BBC to do the address, and he was also scheduled to go to a children's hospital to visit some sick children. And after getting, he fractured his knee. His knee, you know, man, not even ankle and leg, his knee. And what is this? Patella. He fractures his knee bone. And it is said that however it was done, they tried to contact a specific doctor and couldn't get no contact. And the emperor insisted to his advisors that, hey, I have things to do, let us go. And the emperor went and gave the address at the BBC. And afterwards he went to the hospital, not for his knee, the hospital for the children, and visited them. And they have pictures of all these things, you know, man. They have pictures of all these things on the internet. You see the king sitting down with the BBC double microphone in front of him. Honorable Priest Jaja used such a profile for years upon years. From Blog Talk Radio, science. You see the emperor playing with the little children at the hospital. And I'm sure you could catch some videos of it too. You don't see the emperor limping. Ow! Ooh! No. Just cool and calm. It doesn't mean he wasn't in pain. But he developed that discipline to at least preserve himself and control such pain by using other techniques and martial arts that I'm sure the emperor has learned along the way. So this is what I'm saying to us. We are at the stage where we know that we're going down this road in the morning to get to work for 8 o'clock, and we know that there's going to be a traffic jam. We know that. We know that. And we still, when we reach a certain point, start to blow up. Bum, bum, drive the corner, man. Drive. This is what I don't like, you know, man. I can't take this, you know. Every morning is the same thing. The same thing. But mommy, I was saying I have to go. I don't understand him. Mommy, you know, listen, I don't understand these people. What you saying? What? Mommy, we're having a good conversation. These people out here, you know, that kind of way. You having a conversation with someone, sensible conversation, and some little thing happening in the traffic. If it's one thing that screw me off, it's them kind of thing, you know. Ask anybody that know me. I talking to you, and you, some little thing happen, I see it and you see it. Let's just keep driving. And they usually have this silence while, and you still talking, you know. Somebody ride across on a bike. I see it. But I never stop my conversation. I continue to speak about the important matter that we're discussing. So yeah, man. So we're going to send it for this. And when we get the insurance, what we're going to do. Boy, some people, you can see how this, hush the man. I know you're going to do that. We're talking about that important thing. And you tell me about the man that ride across on the bike. But they do that all the time. They who? You know him? Who is they? That is just to distract us. Let us concentrate. Some of us, we weak. You know, like you have people that have weak bowels. Some of us, we have a weak mind. So that discipline of concentrating, it is not within us. When you learn to concentrate, when you learn to guard and furnish your thoughts, again, you're stepping up to that level of what? A God. Because ye are gods, the power of thought. Thoughts become things. Bill Wheatley's experiment again, thoughts become things, and as a God, you're supposed to be in a happy state of mind. No traffic accident supposed to get you upset. Nothing that happens supposed to have you worried. And to look at the Shumanite woman in the Bible again. This Shumanite woman, remember she could not have any children. And she loved the prophet Elisha. So much so that she, being a rich woman, she built Elisha a house. And told Elisha, anytime you come through here, you could stay right here. This is your house. Nobody can come in here when you're not here. The house empty, and this is your place. So one day Elisha now passing through, and you know, everything good and nice. Elisha said, listen, let me ask you something. Yes. What can I do for you? Oh, Elisha, I'm okay. I don't need nothing. She did not have any children. She wanted a child, but she was maybe past the age of childbirth, so that wasn't even a concern. And Elisha said, hey, I know you need a baby. She said, I know you need a child. This year, next year, this time, you'll be giving suck to a child. And if you read the scripture, it's in the book of Kings. She actually said, hey, listen, don't play with me in a man of God. Because it was such a moving gesture that she didn't want no joke, when it comes to that subject. Don't even mock me when it comes to that. She said, don't play around with me, you know. And he said, listen, woman, I said next year this time, you're going to be giving suck to a little baby boy. She said, all right. And she did have the child. Herself, her husband, brought forth a child into the world. Now, when the child was growing up, about 10 or so, the child died one day, fell sick and died on her lap. And she ran to her husband and showed him that, you know, the child is dead and she's going to see the man of God. That's Elisha. And she asked for her husband to get her a horse and a rider and saddle the horse. And she moved and told the rider, don't slack for me, just ride and ride until we reach where we're going. And when she reached where she was going, via the server, Elisha asked, so, is it well? She said, yes. He asked, is it well with your husband? She says, yes, it is well. Read the scripture. He said, okay. Is it well with your son? She said, yes, it is well. But he's dead. But if he's dead, how could it be well? If he is dead, how could it be well? He is dead. Well, that's Elisha, man. Because Elisha now brought the child back to life. So you may be saying in your mind, but brother, that's Elisha. She knew the power of Elisha. She knew Elisha could bring the child back to life, so she already knew. Exactly. That's the point. Exactly. So in other words, it was not even faith she was working with. She was working with knowledge that Elisha could bring the child back to life. Now, although we're speaking very esoterically and symbolically, but the point is, so who is Elisha? Where did Elisha get all them powers there from? Elisha is a little God just like any one of you. So I'm sure Elisha was working towards his higher God stage as well. Because ye are all gods. And now outside of Elisha, the Shumanite woman now, let's take the spotlight off of him because he's not what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about her. She had all faith, yes. When she was asked about the child, she didn't say, boy, remember, you know, she told Elisha, do not play around with me. I'm trying to show you that it was something that was heavy on her heart. She had good understanding here. She had passed the age of giving birth. Obviously, I'm sure there were many nights she went to rest giving the old man problems. Saying, I can't believe up to now I never have a child. And maybe he had a couple other wives doing, and you and so and so and so. And I'm your first wife. I could imagine. So to bring a child into the world, the same Sarah kind of thing over again, was wonderful. And then you're going to kill him? The Almighty who give you the child, take the child away? You have all reason to be upset. You have all reason to be mad. You're supposed to go and pound down Elisha gate. Who's that? Who is that one? Who is that one? You see how they? You see you? You lied to me. I tell you, leave me alone. You should have just leave me alone. Oh man, you shouldn't leave me alone. Why you troubling me for? I would have preferred not to have a child than to have a child and he died before me. She could have said all of that. Some of us would have said that. Most of us would have said that. Some of us would have go with a shotgun. But she came, and when asked about the child, she used her power of thought. She understood that this is the day that Pharaoh had made, and we shall rejoice by law and be glad and happy in it. And all she says that, hey, the child, everything is good. Everything is well. It is all right. I just have a slight little problem here that I'm sure you'll be able to assist me with. So I'm just saying, when we know can start to meditate like that, we've gone to a next level. The power of focus. You know, when you bring this down into your daily living, then when we talk about success, relationships, and family life, and business, and increasing your income, everything here is rooted in the power of thought. One of the first things that you know, that allows you to know that you're on your way, that you are definitely...
Yes, I know flower this on the ends, representing the flames. Yo, the one after the honorable priest Isaac. Some boy if you know this. Hear me now. Antigua are the place where priest Isaac dwell. Ancient Israel, ancient story fit tell. Yes, yes, up a lalibela where the monk them a dwell. With them mescal them a broke evil spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. His foundations in the wall of mountain. Priest Isaac on the wall of mountain. Him block a reverence on the wall of mountain. Him chant a psalm on the wall of mountain. But never hesitate for yell the king. I take a Isaro Einin. So proud yes to be an offspring. Mystic vibration of the people them a sing. Angel, mystic vibration is an angel. And them nah go rebel. In a Zion where him dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Priest Isaac is an angel. Mystic vibration is an angel. And them now go rebel. In a Zion where we dwell. When we broke for them spell. Priest Isaac is an angel. Yes, he's my angel. Trot on the banks of the gully. Isaac trod it through the hills and the valley. Trod it through the town, through the bloody city. Highly, 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 always with we. Highly, 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 I'll protect we. Highly, 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 I would
Nightly, you know, on your way towards success is, as they say, when your vocation literally becomes your vacation. Meaning that whatever it is that you occupy yourself with, not necessarily your so-called occupation. That's sad. When your job is your occupation, that's sad. Right in the word is telling you that your job is your occupation. Wow. That's what you're occupied with. Now, if your quote-unquote job is your vacation, well, it's all right. Even if you're working for someone, I'm not telling you you shouldn't work for someone. What kind of madness is that? When you yourself want to start a business, so what? Nobody's supposed to come and work for you? You don't understand. But more than likely, if you're a genuine human being, you want to create an environment where not only your worker or your employee will benefit, but his or her family and extended, loved ones will feel the benefits coming out of your life-giving enterprise. He or she should be very comfortable to come and work with you. If that's the case, if they gotta come, they could maybe stay where they are, or the work comes to them. Whatever. You don't want to be no boss, and you want to create an environment of liberation, an environment of strength, an environment that has the family structure at the core of it. That's how you're supposed to think, at least to me. as an employer. You understand? You're adding value to people's life. You know, I wouldn't want nobody working for me, and it's like them job thing, like, oh, I gotta go there again. And no, what's wrong? Well, how is my work gonna get done efficiently? You know, I'm supposed to make you feel good. You know, when you leave home, your family said, okay, daddy, or okay, honey, or whatever they say. Knowing that, yeah, man, you're well taken care of and you're bringing home the goods. If that is the case, you know, that is important. So I'm just showing you in general that whatever you occupy yourself with should be what you want to do. I think we all know that. We all know that, you know, when you enjoy your work, it doesn't come like work anymore. So when you're stressed on the job, is because, I mean, that's not really what you want to be doing. You know, but when you're on your occupation of love, you know, when you're going towards your goals, and that's another thing. How many of us have goals? It may sound, you know, a bit off the topic, but when you have a goal, when you know what you're trying to attain, you know, stress doesn't play such a part within it. Yes, it might become stressful to you if you're not attaining your goal, but that's how you look at it. Because we all have goals that are not coming as yet, but once you are persistent, they will come. So you're home, you know. You're home. Some of you're home. Somebody comes and knock on the door, and you know for sure, I ain't going out there. They'll go away. I know none of you don't. I know you don't do that. Not you that listening. Somebody else does it. Yeah. Anybody home? Anybody home? Anybody home? Hello? Hello? What do you want? You waking up the whole neighborhood? Sorry, sir. I have this package here for you. What? Give me the package. Well, jeez. Well, blam. Okay, have a good day. Good day, my foot. Just blah, 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 blah. But the postman or whoever it was persistent. You know, they could have just come and say, anybody home? Hello? Okay, don't sound like nobody there. And gone. But they continue rapping, calling, calling around the window. Anybody inside? Round the back door, boom, 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 boom. Knowing that sooner or later, if somebody inside, they will come out. That's the same level of persistence that you need to have when you're going for a goal. But the point is, many of us, we don't even have a goal. You're supposed to have a goal for the day. Like the goal for the day is this. This is what we need to get done today. But no disrespect, a lot of us, we don't even think about that because the goal for the day is always the same. To go to work. Not your work, you know. You're thinking of the money at the end of the week or the end of the month. That's what you're thinking of. So you just go into this place and whatever they want you to do, you're doing it until you get paid. But when you have goals for yourself, even if you work for someone else, you're still working on your goals, what you want to achieve. So by the end of the day, I want this done. By the end of the week, as they call it, the strong, I want this done. So you have a goal for the end of the month. You have a goal for the end of the year. So obviously, if you have a goal for the end of the year, more than likely you will have a plan that leads you to the end of that year. And the best time to begin that is at the beginning of the year. We're dealing with the power of thought. You're God, ain't you? We're dealing with the power of frequency coming out of the brain cells, neurons. So when we apply all of this, as I said, obviously, if you're going towards your own goal, then now the system may just be against you. So obviously there's room now for this quote-unquote stress to come in. But if you are persistent, once you keep that persistent mind frame, that you're gonna beat the door until it opens, trust me, you don't really have that much time for stress. You just know it's all right. The door is gonna get open. someday. Because I'm not going to stop beating the door. You may sit down for a while on the veranda and wait to see if anybody come in. But after 10 minutes, you get up again and start beating the door. Ah, he's still out there. Yeah. So you got to be persistent. But you have to have goals. You have to know what you want. You know, yeah, I need more money. That's not good enough. How much more money do you want? I'm serious. You see, that's another thing. That's how we think, you know. More money. That's lazy thinking. What money you want? How much money you want? And by when do you want the money? And to me, the best way to meditate is not what money you want, you know, but how much money in specific intervals. So in other words, instead of just saying, I need $50,000 in 1.5 months, why not say to yourself, hey, a constant stream of income, be it, let's just say, $1,000 a day. And now just by saying that, I know there are people that say, wow, you thinking big. Thinking what? Man, I shouldn't even say anything like that. I mean, 1,000 is Jamaican money I'm talking. Oh, okay, I didn't know. Well, so you see, now, so I'm not thinking small. Give me a break. It's supposed, what's wrong with us? When people making millions a day? What is a grand a day? What is that? What is that? What can that do? I'm very serious. What can that do? You forget where we are. This is planet world. What can that do? That can only help somebody that's selfish. I'm very straight. You must be saying, hey, wow. I mean, wow, what are you talking about? Maybe what are you talking about? What can a grand do day? It could be a grand pounds. What can that do? A grand euro. What can that do for a suffering mass of people? Come on, man, that is dead. And I don't mean a grand a day for a month. Create a system where you're insured of that. So obviously, if you have a system that you can do that, within 4 months, you're supposed to be $2,000 a day. So if you think that's too big, I'm so sorry. Let's start small then. I'm telling you. For those down there, I'm serious. Don't get offended. $300 a day. Some people is that they collect $300 a week, you know, man, for their work, for the time that they put in, for the time that you put in. But you, within your own self, can, within yourself, if where you working is not giving you what you want, you have the power of thought within your own self. You have enough talent within your own self to create what you need. As I was saying at a Kwanzaa celebration, I think it was previous year or the year before that, I was showing the audience, I think we were talking about, what is the young ones are not in the studio at the moment. I would have asked my princess that Kiswahili word that has to do with collective business, etc. But whatever, Jama, whatever. But whatever the case is, I was showing them that, listen, man, you know, it's Kwanzaa time, and I see you giving out gifts. Some of the gifts, they're well wrapped and neat and everything. So somebody comes and give you a gift for your birthday, Kwanzaa, whatever. Say Christmas, you get a gift, well wrapped up and the bow and everything. This is your gift. Oh, thank you. Good. You go in, come back. In a month, you're looking around the person's house. You see a gift on the shelf. It's not your gift anymore, you know. You already give the person the gift. So you still have the gift up there. Oh yeah, I plan to use it someday. Okay, so which day? I don't know, someday. Well, if you didn't want it, you could have told me, take it easy. I don't even know what's in there. And that's what I'm saying. Some people, they unwrap their gift, which is really the decent thing to do. I mean, they unwrap their gifts. Oh, this is nice. Look at the china ware. This is nice. Let's put it on the shelf. And they put it on the shelf. Maybe still in the box. Some people take it out the box and, you know, put it in the cabinet, and this is for special people when they come. Some people say, wow, look at this. Take this out the box and put it on the table right away. We're going to eat our next meal from this gift. I'm saying we all have gifts. From the Almighty I'm talking about. From the original Kwanzaa. From the first. We all have gifts. All of us have gifts. Not no one gifts, plenty gifts. But most of us, we have our gifts on the shelf. Some of us, the gift is still in the wrapping paper. We didn't even take off the bow. We have no idea what is in the box. Some of us, we know what is in the box. In fact, we can see it, but it's still in the manufacturing box. We took it out the gift box, so we know what it is. Oh, this is nice, but we still put it on the shelf. Some of us, we even take it out the manufacturing box and we still put it in the cabinet. And then there are those of us who use it right away. So how do you feel? How do you think the Almighty feels when He comes and visits you and see the gift still on the shelf? This is what I'm talking about. If you do not have goals set, you ain't using no gifts. Because your goals should align with your gifts. Your gifts should be able to lead you to that goal. The power of thought. You're God, ain't you? This is the day that the Lord has made. We should rejoice, isn't it? The Christ gave a parable. One thing with this Christ, He always telling Nancy's story. Yeah, man, always talking some parable. There ain't no true story in a parable the man talking. Who? Jesus Christ I talking about. Parable. Pure parable the man talking about. Parable. He never tell you no real story, you know. It's some man go and sow a seed, and man sow this and grow amongst the thorns, some grow amongst parable. But nothing wrong with that. That's how we tell stories. His story itself is a parable. You know, straight up. So he said now, this king gave his three servants some talents. Interesting word, but the talent here means money. But the talent obviously means your talent too. One he gave 10, I think one he gave 5, and one he gave 1. And as if he know who to give what. And he left and came back. And the one that had 10 talent, he sold and bought, and he had he made a great profit. The one that got 5, he did the same. The one that got 1 said, boy, boss, I knew that you were a very tough man, you don't make jokes. So I didn't want nothing to happen to this one talent, and you just want to give me, I didn't want to take a chance, I could have tried a thing, but if I lose, I'd lose one time. Them other fellas, you set them up good, you must admit, you set them up good. Because this one over here, even if the first 2 try he got, he missed, he still had more chances. Me, so I buried your talent, And here it is. And according to that story, the master was angry with him. He called him a wicked servant. And he gave what he had to the one that had 10. And I think a statement was made as if, he taking away even that which he doesn't have. So those of us who don't use our talent and just bury it in the ground and have the gift on the shelf, even what we don't have will be taken away. So this is deep. And again, it all begins with the power of thought. And it may sound strange, but all of this has to do with stress. Because when you have this frame of mind, the God frame of mind, stress finds it hard to get in. And even if it seeps in, because these things would happen, stress seeps in, fear seeps in. There's nothing wrong with being fearful, but how you handle the fear. There's nothing wrong, being angry as such, but how you handle the anger. That's really the key. How you address these things. That's the vibration here that I'm talking about. So just balance yourself, brothers and sisters. This is a conversation that I would want to continue. Continue to set your goals. Write them on paper. You got to write down what you want to accomplish. Writing is very powerful. Even the scripture again speaks about that. Writing is very powerful. You may have some good ideas and you never implement them even on paper. And a dull pencil is better than a sharp mind any day. Pardon me, something there might, yeah. Oh, it just got that. Yeah, a dull pencil is better than a sharp mind. Keep your notes. Plan your agenda. Have your goals. Set your financial goals too. It ain't hard. Man, once you get real, once you get real, it ain't hard. Don't let the world leave you behind. So don't get stressed out. It's the power of thought. Become a God. Nourish that God energy. Learn how to wake up early in the morning. Wake up 4 o'clock, at least 4:30. Give yourself an hour. Deep breathing. Inhale, exhale. Have a thank you list. You should always have a thank you list. A list of things that you are naturally thankful for. That gets you in the right frame of mind. Oh, I'm thankful for this. When you say I'm thankful, good vibrations come. Just natural. I'm not telling you to put on no fake face and be grinning and whistle while you work kind of thing. In fact, you don't even have to smile. You say, how many teeth in your mouth show, you could be looking like a bull cackle, as we would call them. That Chicago Bulls. You could be looking like that with the stuff coming out your nose. But that doesn't mean you're not happy. You're joyful within yourself. You're not stressed. You're not every little thing. Boy. What am I going to do now? That's how people stay. Some people, you just meet them. Hey, how is everything? Boy. And if you notice, when people speak like that, boy, you notice they get weak. They start to rock side to side. They have to lean up on the fence. But when you say, everything is good, you stand up and your back becomes erect and kundalini start to work. You just check it out. Just say to yourself, right now I'm talking to you, just say to yourself, boy, things not work too good. And tell me if your body don't start to slump. It's a natural thing. Just do it. Just say it. Just do it. After me. Boy, things now. You see? Look at it start to bend down. Yeah. Because it's a natural thing. It has to do with the power of thought. Your whole body start to crack up. Get weak the moment you start to talk bad. I challenge anybody. I do that all the time with, people that come to my lecture. We stand up and I tell some stand up against the wall and repeat after me. Boy, things the bad and things bad, boy. I just come from the hospital. And just to do that, you have to put your elbow on the desk and lean your cheek in your arm, in your hand, and all kind of things. Because your body is getting weak. Oh, I'm okay. Oh, everything is wonderful. Even if you're acting, you actually can't stop your body from becoming erect when you speak properly. And yes, and when I say properly, not the Queen's English, I mean properly in the sense of, good vibration. Yeah, man, be safe, man, boy. Boy, everything bless. You're up there. Yeah, so give thanks. And as I said, we will continue this reasoning, not necessarily discussion. We're not dissing and cussing no one. I want to remind you that the book Anu, our first ebook, will be launched in a few days. So it will be made available. Anu, Ancient and Modern, which is really our first book in general, but we have put it in e-format, and it will definitely be available for yourself within a few days. I can't even give you the date at the moment. We'll have an official web launch of it. And in fact, by the time, if you're hearing this on a rerun, more than likely the book is already available. And as I told you in another episode, as we are working to establish Radio Anu, the website, on another level very soon, you'll be able to order it straight from there. But for now, you can still contact me the quote-unquote old-fashioned way. Imagine this is old-fashioned way. Just contact me via email. That's the old-fashioned way. Wow, you can contact me via email, of course, priestisaac27@gmail.com, to order your book, Anu, Ancient and Modern, in its e-version. And yeah, a lot of things. Remember, of course, that the documentary is still available. Our first video lecture, it will always be available, is Haile Selassie A. Mason. And of course, coming up for the 15th of July, we'll be having our second video lecture. I haven't branded the title on it yet, but as I said, I'll be specifically speaking about the age that we are really in, because there's this debate about the age, the Aquarius age and the Pisces age. So I'll be giving a PowerPoint lecture, you know, with slides to show you, and I'll be using a specific software to let you see exactly where we are. And also I'll be concentrating on the zodiac energy that we speak about, because in reality, if the age has changed, you cannot still be the zodiac sign that most of us attach ourselves to. It's impossible if the age has changed, you know. And I'm telling you, the age hasn't changed as much, but I don't want to spill no beans yet. It's not a matter of if the age has changed or not. It's obvious this is a 2,160 year process. So the age doesn't change overnight, basically. The point is, we need to know where we are in the transition of the age. And I can show you exactly where we are. And I will. And that will be prepared for the 15th of July. So give thanks. So many things happening. Remember, of course, our hike for the 21st, 23rd day of December. If you're really interested in coming on such, just give me an email. That's all. Just email me and say, Priest, I'm interested in coming. And from there, we take it from there. Obviously, we have you know email. We'll be contacting you. Continue to keep you up to date in exactly what is taking place as well. Remember the night of the Black Tiger, the 17th of August, the divinity of Marcus Messiah Garvey. That is not a video lecture. That is not a video lecture. It is a documentary in the same fashion as the Master of Ceremonies and the documentary 7. It has been such a wonderful, you know, experience, you know, with us this night. I'm very thankful to have been in your presence, you know. As I always say, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of the Bible will definitely become a mystery. This is Radio Anu. Keep it locked to Radio Anu, man. As I said, it takes some real eyes to realize the real eyes that are amongst us in this time. Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Subscribe to the Mystic Vibration Shock of the Hour program today and receive our nightly show immediately after each and every broadcast. This will be done via the email and will be found in your inbox. For the small price of only 50 United States dollars, you will receive almost 20 hours of raw information, knowledge, research, and scholarship on various subject areas and topics that are necessary to be addressed at this time. In addition, all subscribers will receive our monthly video lecture series, which has a value of 20 United States dollars. They will receive the video lecture for free that is related to the month that they are subscribing for. To subscribe, call or WhatsApp 1268-728-3162 or email priestisaac27@gmail.com. The Mystic Vibration is a program that airs every Monday to Thursday at 6 p.m. sharp Eastern Caribbean time on Radio Anu, radioanu.com.
That teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will ensue. Any leadership that teaches you to depend upon another race is a leadership that will ensue. They gave leadership to our foreparents and that leadership made them slaves. But we have decided to find a leadership of our own to make ourselves free men. Our great scholars have advanced through the colleges and universities have thrown away the blessed record. Babylon did it. Assyria did it. France under Napoleon did it. Germany under Prince von Bismarck did it. England under America under George Washington did it. Africa with 400 million black people can do it.